You might be wondering why I'm sitting in a bathtub. Well, the reason is that I'm in a hotel room with my son, Atlas, and he is playing in the next room. And so basically, I'm just doing my best here to get this video done in the circumstances that I have. And also it kind of looks cool in here, as you can see. I've read a quote this week that was, the part of you that is never changing, the part of you that is always changing, feel both at the same time. And I just feel like that's so relevant for entrepreneurs and for men, especially leading their lives, that there's this part of us that actually is always seeking growth and always seeking change and evolution and to be better. But there's a part of us that's never changing. And that's kind of like just there, current the whole time. And I want to talk today and share with you more about how I got to this place today where I am. And I'm in Bali right now with my son Atlas. We're here for another 4 days until I go back to Perth with him for 5 days, and then I'm off to Austin, Texas. And I worked like 10 hours last week, and I coach amazing people all around the world. I get to do what I want with my time. I just live a fucking epic life. I'm honestly like so happy right now. I'm feeling very in flow, and that doesn't happen like that all the time. But I want to share with you more of the story and how that has to do with that quote of change and continuity at the same time. So yeah, lessons that I've had this week. Well, this past week I've worked about 10 hours, like I said. I'm sliding down right now. Yeah, this past week has been mostly spending time with my son Atlas because I just want to be with him, and coming up soon is going to be the first time I'm going to be away from him for 9 weeks, which is going to be a little bit of a challenge, no doubt. And as a not single father, as a separated parent, a co-parent, and especially as a dad, and I've made a decision not to live in Perth where he lives. There is kind of this reality that's like I'm making a decision to not be around my son all the time, and just really learning how to be with that as a human. Because I think for me at least, I had this idea that I was gonna have a child and like raise a normal family and be with them all the time, but that's not what's happened. And so it's like kind of just accepting reality, and that's both liberating and painful in moments. And yeah, there's so many great things about our relationship, and there's some hard parts too, and I think that that's gonna happen no matter what the dynamic is. So yeah, I've really been enjoying our time together. We've been spending lots of time at the beach and at the swimming pool, and he's turning 5 tomorrow, so we've got a cool birthday party at the water slide park. Happy birthday, Atlas, for next week. And it really got me thinking. I keep sliding down in this bathtub, by the way. It really got me thinking, what are you working for? And are you doing today things that your future self will thank you for? And that sitting with that question has been so important for me, because as I mature as a man, I find so much of my suffering is caused by experiences in my life where I am opting for short-term pleasure over long-term fulfillment. By the way, you guys have no idea how many times I'm having to stop this video because Atlas is making a ton of noise in the background, and it's like the life of a parent, right? We're in a hotel room right now with 2 rooms, but yeah, it's just how it is. Yeah, so as I get to enjoy this time with Atlas, I've really been reflecting on that. Like, there were so many decisions that I made in my past that have me set up this reality for myself today. And not just in a sense of work and time and money, by the way, which is what most people's first assumptions are, but also in a sense of like presence and a sense of mastery around my energy and the ability to put my phone away for a day, and the ability to actually play and be in his world and his experience and like let myself have that experience too. Because all of that is contributing to this, including my health. Like I'm the fittest and healthiest I've ever been. It's all part of the decisions that I made that have set me up to have this amazing experience with my son right now. So yeah, I like that question a lot. What are you working for? And are you doing today the things that your future self will thank you for? And the second lesson that I had this week is just, you've got to enjoy the process. Like, if I'm not enjoying the process of what I'm building, it's not going to be done. It's not going to be created, and it's not going to be received well. The best things in life come sprouted from the seeds of the tree of joy. Whew, you can quote me on that. This also comes back to a couple of decisions I've had to make in the past week have been saying no to committing to contracts or work with friends that I didn't feel aligned with, didn't feel aligned with the person, but didn't feel aligned doing that work with that person. So it's like their skill is video stuff. I wanted to get a video created. It just didn't feel right to do it with that person. So I said no. And the reason I said no is because I checked in with myself and my body was a no. It was like, there's a part of me that wants to please this person. There's a part of me that wants to honor this person. There's a part of me that wants to, give this person this job, and it would also be a great thing. I know they would do a good job, but when push comes to shove, it's not a full yes for me, which means I'm not going to enjoy the process. There's a part of me that I'm going to abandon in this decision. And so in honoring my own self, I get to honor everyone else in the process, because honoring everyone else doesn't mean that everyone gets what they want. And my third lesson that I want to share is that upgrading for spaciousness is worth the extra money. Like, this past 12 months, I really cut back my living expenses. And I mean really cut back my living expenses. Like, I went from spending $150 to probably $250K a year down to $80 to $100K a year. And that was a big part of moving to Bali. It was like really just living cheap, getting things cut back, and just like getting myself in an energy of saving again and conserving. And a part of that was like, I reduced my footprint, staying in smaller places, and the drill. But as I step back out into an era of expansion, I'm finding that the investment is worth it. Like, I paid, an extra $100 or an extra $50 a night, I think it was, here in Bali for this hotel suite. So it's got a living room with closed doors just to the left of the camera. You can't see. The bed is right behind you guys. And a bigger bathroom. And so like essentially we've got three rooms in here. And that is enabling me to actually like get up in the morning before Atlas, meditate in a separate area, have my space, have some space right now, kind of, film a video, and it's just worth it. And every single time I invest in spaciousness, it equals spaciousness of mind, body, heart for me. It kind of comes back to the clean desk theory. Like, if you've got a clean desk, you've probably got greater capacity. There's just something about that energy of spaciousness that I think is so important for creativity and for dialing in your state of awareness and consciousness. So what, I said earlier, I worked about 10 hours this past week, and I want to share with you what it was that had me what was the decision my past self made that had me land in this moment here? Number one was the moment of enoughness. Like, I remember in 2016, it was only 6 to 12 months into having my first business. I had two businesses at that point, a real estate company and my outsourcing company, Workspace Co. And I was just like tired of working so much. And I just remember not being willing to allow the current conditions to exist. It was like, this isn't worth it for me anymore. This amount of work that I'm doing, the amount that I'm sacrificing is no longer worth the result for me. Yeah, it was like this moment of awareness around that. And I see this with a lot of my clients actually, is like, they've employed me as a coach to help take them to that point and see the realizations in it. That like, well, hey, like, look, is this actually working for you? And back then it was like me working 80 hours a week to generate, a couple $1 million in revenue a year, but my businesses weren't super profitable. I was spending so much cash. And funnily enough, by making a series of different decisions from then, the first one was, my business needs to work for me, not the other way around. Things flipped and have just consistently flipped. And it's been a process of me getting out of the way to allow life to flow through me. Because to become an amazing entrepreneur, you must become a master of energy. You can't get things done if you don't have clear energetic boundaries. You can't have an amazing team and be a leader if you aren't attuned to energy and the exchange of energy that happens, and how to facilitate things being created. And you've got to realize that you are not just the creator, more so you are the conduit for a greater source of energy to flow. And it's your job to hold the container to allow what needs to come through to flow freely. So when you have an idea, when you have a vision of a greater life, when you have this voice inside you telling you, wow, there's more for me to experience, the mind often can't logically figure that out, because the dream and the vision is greater than your current paradigms of logic. And so often this requires shutting off some of the mind and allowing yourself to tune into that voice in your soul and your heart and follow that. What does that look like specifically? Well, for me, there have been so many examples. Like when I started my real estate agency, the moment that I was telling you about, it's like I had a real estate franchise. It's like the franchisors were like, you can't move back to Perth a year after starting this agency. Like who the fuck does that? And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I need to move for me. It's like listening to that voice. And then that led to me meeting a specific mentor, Preston, and a bunch of other, like just everything butterfly affected, It's about like tuning into that voice, because that's what will create the butterfly effect in your life that will have your reality totally shift. Another one was moving to Bali. Like, I don't know the effect on my son. I didn't know the effect on me. I didn't know that was the right decision. I didn't know who I was going to meet here. I didn't know that whether I was going to live here forever or not. And turns out I'm not going to be living here forever. I'm about to head over to the US. Side note, I'll be there legally. I'm working on a proper visa, but I'm not going over my restrictions, just in case anyone from the US government is watching. It's your job to hold the container to allow what needs to come through to flow freely. And to do that, you need to listen to the soul's voice and make a decision based on that. Final thing I want to share with you today is a quote, a little thing that I wrote. I start to judge you because that part of you feels scary to my heart. I decide to celebrate you, and that same part now feels exciting to my heart. Something that's gotten in my way a lot in my life is judging other people, pedestaling them and pushing them away from me, making them lower than me, pedestaling myself and pushing them away from me. And what that is there's something scary about that person, or something intimidating, or whatever it is, or something that I perceive that I can't, I don't want to acquaint myself with, that I'm pushing away. And a big process of letting go that I'm in right now is I just signed up to work with a mentor who I previously judged, like, for a really long time. And I'm super excited about working with this dude. He's an amazing dude. And I realized that he has medicine for me, that there's something there. And you know what? It's this quality that he has about him. And it's like the judgment is, he's ungrounded, or he's this, or he likes attention, or whatever. But the reframe that makes it exciting is like, he's got star quality. He's a fucking celebrity. And that makes that experience of what he has exciting. And it is actually exciting to me, because it's something I want in myself. I want to cultivate more of. And I just wrote, like, our judgments are the areas of our consciousness that we are blocking love and therefore blocking expansion. So that's it. Lots moving at the moment, lots happening in my reality, lots shifting. I hope this was helpful in some way. Big part of this for me is like, what else would you like to hear from me? I'd love to know what was helpful about this, what topics you'd like me to speak on next. If there's anything specific, please drop it in the comments or DM me on Instagram at Alexander Waters. This has been great hanging out, and I'll see you next week. Peace.